Free agency has come and gone. The Orlando Magic have signed Tyus Jones. How the Magic made this a successful summer, and we learn more about the Magic's new point guard from Ben Garcia of Locked On Suns today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is July 6th. It will be July 7th, 2025. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can, of course, follow me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. I'm a credentialed member of the Orlando Magic media covering the team since the 2012 season. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Orlando Magic had a successful summer. No matter how you break it down, I show you and tell you how the Magic made the most of their summer, including the new additions we haven't quite talked about or aren't quite official yet. We'll get to that, plus my conversation with Ben Garcia of Locked On Suns to learn a little bit more about Tyus Jones. We're going to get to all of that today on the show. But before we do end that, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. Whether we're your first listen of the day, whether you're listening to us right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. We truly appreciate those of you who are part of our everyday crew who make Locked On Magic their first listen every day, or just generally part of their day in general. We're all part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. The Orlando Magic entered this offseason with some clear goals. You can go back, listen to our episodes from early May, right after the season ended, when we were beginning to kind of assess how things went. Even if we granted that the Magic had this injury-filled season, had this season that didn't quite live up to expectations, that didn't quite deliver everything it was supposed to, even if we granted for all of that, we understood that the Magic were still a better team, that they were better than 41 and 41 7th in the East. But we also understood that despite not having Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner, two very important players in that playoff series, they did not have enough. More specifically, they did not have enough offense to compete with a championship. And that, Jeff Weltman laid the gauntlet down at the beginning of the offseason. He said, we are going to make moves with a win now lens. The Magic were not going to sit idly by and let this summer pass them over. This was going to be a summer of action. And so there were three pillars that the Magic had to address, or three things really that fans wanted the Magic to address this season. The first pillar was they wanted the Magic to do something. The Magic hadn't made a trade to acquire a player they were actually going to use since 2022 when they acquired Bol Bol. And that was a minor deal. They didn't trade any players out to make that happen. The Magic needed to be active and aggressive. They couldn't just wait for things to come to them. And so while we imagined that they might go after Anthony Simons, Colin Sexton, these kind of low-hanging fruit of players that we just knew were available and had skills that would theoretically make the Magic better, the Magic went out and got their main target. A target none of us thought was available. And it cost them a lot, but that's the price of doing something big. They got Desmond Bane. And all of a sudden, in the first big move of the offseason, all of a sudden the Magic weren't just whispered as an up-and-coming team. The Magic were talked openly as, oh, they're going for it. This is a player who fits them perfectly, doesn't take away anything that they're trying to do, only adds things and makes them better. Desmond Bane was a truly, truly huge step for this Orlando Magic team. They got significantly better in adding Desmond Bane. And it's not just all those other things, because we all understood that the Magic could not survive as a number 27 offensive team in the league anymore. The Magic couldn't get by in a league where three-point shooting is more important than ever, as the lowest 3-point field goal percentage team in the league and the lowest 3-point field goal makes team in the league. Orlando needed a complete overhaul of its offense, or at least of its offensive personnel, to get the most out of Paolo, Banchero, and Franz Wagner, who are already at a very high level. The first Magic duo to average 20 points per game in the same season. So the Magic started that action with Desmond Bane, a player who shot 39% from three last year in a down year. Player who averaged 19.2 points per game in a down year. A player who was a 40.2% catch and shoot three-point shooter. Someone who is unafraid to step into a three, take it, and make it. Can make 6-7 threes in a game. The kind of thing the Magic needed. But they weren't done there. They added Tyus Jones, a 41.2% three-point shooter last year, a 46% shooter on catch and shoot three-pointers. One of the most efficient three-point shooters, low turnover, no mistake player. They went out and added Jace Richardson in the draft, a player like Tyus Jones who doesn't fit their type for size, but is going to compete, is going to try on defense, which is half the battle, and is going to make enough shots to keep defenses honest. Getting Jalen Suggs back and putting him in a role where he is more confined to catch and shoots is going to help him. Paolo Banchero having another playmaker to maybe get him some catch and shoot threes is going to help him. And God willing, Franz Wagner will start making threes too. The Magic, I wouldn't say have transformed their offense overnight, but it's gotten a lot better. If the Magic are still in the bottom 10 in the league in offensive rating, there are bigger issues at play here. But the Magic have added 3 critical offensive weapons to a young team that should continue to get better, theoretically, of course. But that's not where they finished. They weren't done rebuilding this team from there. As has been reported over the weekend and has been reported over the last few days, the Orlando Magic are also shaking up their coaching staff a little bit. It has been long reported, long rumored that the Magic were going to add Shamgod, Dallas Mavericks assistant, former Dallas Mavericks assistant coach, legendary street ball player, legendary ball handler, great player development coach, someone that Kyrie Irving trusted pretty quickly, guy who worked with Jamal Mosley in his first 2 years in Dallas, and got Shamgod's first 2 years in Dallas. The Magic are adding another really strong, high-quality development coach to their team, whose focus is almost entirely on offense, on a skill that the Magic, frankly, need to continue improving and grow with. But the Magic aren't done there. Mark Stein of the Steinline Substack reporting, and confirmed by Jason Beatty of the Orlando Sentinel, that the Orlando Magic are in talks to hire Joe Prunty, assistant coach for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's been in Milwaukee on several stops. He was with Jamal Mosley for a few years in Cleveland in the early 2010s. But he was the interim coach between Adrian Griffin and Doc Rivers. He is considered a really strong kind of sounding board for head coaches. He's been an interim coach 3 times in his career. So he's been knocking on the door being a head coach. Someone who is considered a strong after timeout play caller. Someone who is considered a solid offensive mind. Is this the offensive coordinator that some fans were clamoring for? I don't think so. I don't think the Magic are revolutionizing their offensive sets here. But they have added a coach who is going to add to this team's offensive identity, that is going to layer his philosophies and layer himself onto this team. In the end, the Magic don't want to touch their defense. Their defense is elite, and they tried to add players who would add to that defense or would add to the offense without taking away from the defense. And again, the proof will be in the pudding when we get to October and November. But the Magic entered this offseason, this free agency, this summer, needing to vastly improve their offense, needing to greatly improve the offensive playmaking talent level and skill level on this team. And at every turn, at every pillar, the Magic have done that. And that is why this is a successful offseason. That is why the Magic come out as winners in this 2025 offseason. It's why the Magic are now considered one of the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. A big part of that is the acquisition of Tyus Jones. So today, for the rest of the show, we are going to break down with Ben Garcia of Locked On Suns what the Magic are getting in Tyus Jones. We're going to get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. Summer sports are, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. FanDuel is the best way to track your favorite matchups. The app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you are part of the action. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. And I am joined now by Ben Garcia, the host of Locked On Suns, to give us a little bit more insight into what to expect from Tyus Jones as he's set to sign, and by the time this airs, might have already signed a 1-year, $7 million contract. Ben, first off, how are you doing? I know it's been a strange summer for the Suns so far, so I want to be here and support and all that.
Well, at least for me, it's been at least busy. Like, I feel bad for Locked On Magic or my buddy Danny Cunningham with Locked On Cavs or like whatever, because, you know, it's hard to find topics. Now it's starting to get to the hard part of finding topics for the Suns, but like, we haven't had that problem yet. We haven't been like, oh, what do we talk about today? It's like Kevin Durant, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, acing the draft. And it's like,
so many guards.
It's been exactly, dude. You guys, we had to give one to you guys to be able to even it out a little bit, but it's been good, man. The Suns, I mean, we're not even in the realm where the Magic are, where the Magic are trying to compete right now, and the Suns are just trying to build the culture and maybe be a sneaky playoff team, but nothing really more than that. We're like, I think your guys' aspirations is like Eastern Conference Finals, where ours is, can you make the playoffs?
Yeah. I like this is an aside. We'll get to Tyus here in a minute. I really feel like kind of in this new NBA cap world, teams are either attacking or in retreat. And there's just, and that's just kind of going to be how this is. When windows close, you kind of retreat a little bit, regroup and pounce again. And, you know, Phoenix is probably a team a little bit in retreat right now. You're obviously trading Kevin Durant. He's, still a top 10, 15 player in the league, transformational player. And Phoenix is going to be reconfiguring themselves maybe over the next year or two. And then, you know, the reports are, as we're recording this, Devin Booker's going to sign an extension, and they still have that centerpiece player to make waves. But we're here today to talk about Tyus Jones because, as you mentioned, the Magic are trying to take that next step. And they went out and got a point guard that Magic fans have had their eyes on for several years. Someone that is going to seemingly help the team. But I want to get a sense of where he's at, where he was at in Phoenix, because he was brought in, granted on a minimum contract. It felt like to give Phoenix some stability at point guard. I don't want to necessarily say like what went wrong. I know that's what I have in my rundown, but what worked and what didn't work with Tyus Jones in his 1 year with Phoenix?
Tyus Jones is still a very good 3-point shooter, and you guys need that. You guys need more shooting on your team. You guys kind of solidified that with Desmond Bane, but bringing in another shooter like Tyus Jones, like there's this age-old debate with Suns community, which, you know, probably one of the reasons why Kevin Durant's not fond of me is like, did the Suns fail Kevin Durant or did Kevin Durant fail the Suns? It's a little bit of both. Like with Tyus Jones, did Tyus fail the Suns or did the Suns fail Tyus? I think Tyus failed himself, and I think the Suns failed Tyus Jones because it was pretty clear Tyus wasn't going to fit here. But like, even I didn't think that. I just thought, okay, the Suns' main concern was never point guard. It's still not point guard. In the NBA, everyone gets so fixated on like, oh, you got to have your one. It's like, no, you actually don't anymore.
Preaching
so we're just
to the
gonna
choir.
Like, you just like, oh, it's good. Listen, I'll tell Magic fans that too. I don't know if we need a point guard. No, you don't. You don't need a point guard. You need a playmaker at the one position, someone who can handle the ball, and that comes with playmaking. But you don't need a traditional point guard to start anymore. You want to get the ball in your best player's hands. And in a world now with Paolo, and I guess Paolo, I wouldn't say has the greatest handles, but Desmond Baines can handle the ball well. I don't think Paolo is just like fumbling with the ball, but those players need to be able to do everything. Like, life is not so much different than basketball. In life, we're asking, like you and me, to do a podcast, record it, post it, edit it, make social media clips. Whereas in the olden days, it would be, I'm going to record, someone else is going to edit it. It's just like in the NBA. You're going to ask Paolo to bring the ball up. You're going to ask Desmond Bain to bring the ball up, distribute, play make. And Tyus Jones, for the Suns as a point guard, I think it was unfair to ask of him with his defensive deficiencies to come in here and change the culture. Not to mention, the dude was just misused. Like, go back to any Suns game that Tyus Jones played in, and Brendan Clean, my co-host, and I will continue to say, why is Tyus Jones out there if he's not orchestrating the offense? Because you're just putting him out there as a net negative defensively, and he is like a bad defender. But he can be covered up really defensively on the Orlando Magic, who have a lot of length, a lot of size, defensive team. Like, they might pick on Tyus, but they're not going to be able to get him in the middle of the like under the basket and pick on him. Like, that's not going to be the case. He is a willing defender. He's just not a great defender, which is like half the battle. Shoots the ball really effectively. But like, if Magic fans are like, which Tyus Jones are we getting? The one with Memphis and the one with the Wizards, or the one with the Suns? I would lean towards you're getting the one with Memphis and the Wizards, because the Suns kind of failed him and Tyus failed himself by thinking this was a good match for him, because the Suns were never going to take the ball out of the hands out of the big three in BL, Booker, and KD. They basically had a point guard out there to make themselves feel better. And like, speaking to Magic fans, don't do that. Like, don't put someone out there just to make yourself feel better. You need to ask your star players, like the Suns are going to do with Devin Booker this year, to bring the ball up the floor, distribute, play make, shoot the ball. It's what we are going to pay. We were talking about this pre-show. Like, it's what we're paying Devin Booker pretty soon, $75 million a year to do so. And I don't know what Paolo's contract will be, but like $65 million a year to do so. Like,
it'll get there.
We're asking you to do more. Exactly. Like, we're asking you to do more. So overview of Tyus would be defensive deficiencies, but he is going to be able to distribute the ball, shoot the three, and you're going to like his floater. He's got like this patent floater that he'll take to the rim, and I don't think his defensive issues are going to be as magnified with the Magic. Honestly, I really like the fit. Him being Tyus is definitely a top 7 or 8 player on a championship team. Like, he is the 8th guy or the 7th guy off the bench. He's not a starter. He shouldn't start for you guys. But coming off the bench, shoot the 3 ball and distribute a little bit defense with guys off the bench. Like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I was actually real curious about that dichotomy itself, because like you mentioned, like, you want the ball in the hands of your best players, and the way the Magic are kind of setting themselves up, I've been kind of calling it the Magic are moneyballing the point guard position. We don't have a point guard, but we can create one in the aggregate, because, you know, Paolo will average 5 assists per game. Franz will be at 4 or 5 assists per game. Desmond Bain was at 5 assists per game. Jalen Suggs can play make a little bit. Now you add, you know, a Tyus Jones off the bench. Anthony Black, you know, may still have some point guard skills. Between all of them, they've got two point guard level players.
Mm-hmm.
That dichotomy, though, of starting versus coming off the bench, he still started the majority of his games last year.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
How effective was he coming off the bench and kind of anchoring bench units? Because the starting line for the Magic is set. It's Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bain, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter. Barring injuries, which, you know, happened during the course of the season, Tyus is probably not going to start very much. And again, like you said, the size is an issue, even though the Magic have a good defense and a good defensive backbone to maybe help cover him up. It really feels like the Magic brought him in to run that backcourt group, that bench group. What was the difference between him starting and coming off the bench, playing maybe away from some of the stars that the Suns had?
Not much. You have to value Tyus Jones individually, because the Suns were such a laughing stock this past year. Starting, they just didn't use him. Like, they just left him out there, like I said before, to make him feel better, but then get picked on defensively. They tried to use him for like the first week, And then they were like, no, we're good. Let's just go play. Like the Suns didn't have a game plan. They just played mano-a-mano basketball. Off the bench, like individually, Tyus was fine. Like you look at Tyus's numbers and you're like 44, 41, almost 90 shooting, 10 points a game. Assists were 5 a game. Like I expect that to be the case, but all the good things about Tyus, not the bad things. It's not like he got old out of nowhere. It's not like a lack of trying. I have talked with Tyus along with like, I'm Not Special, a lot of media members. He's a very, very nice guy. Like it seems like the players really like him. He's going to get along with everyone. I don't remember, like Katie would come after me every 5 seconds. Never had run-ins with Tyus. Very nice dude. What I will say is like, I think he's 6 foot even. How tall is this guy? 6 foot
that
1.
That sounds right. 6 feet 6'1". Like that was always a concern on the Magic side.
Dude, so it sounds like he says he's 6'1". I don't know if Tyus Jones is 6'1".
Jace Richardson said he's 6'3", and he measured 6 foot and a quarter at the combine.
Dude, Tyus he's like I mean like he's a very nice guy.
Yeah.
There'd be like a media scrum right outside where the players walk out and we're just talking about nonsense. And like Tyus would join the conversation. Like I've heard that from people that he would just come in and join the conversation, talk with people. I've seen him like from a distance talking with people. That dude was never the tallest person in the group ever. So small dude, but off the bench, like what's the issue? So I think I would urge Magic fans, like once again, like look around the league. Where is your traditional point guard starting in the NBA? Steph Curry is not a traditional point guard. He can pass the ball. Like he does everything really well. SGA is not a traditional point guard and he runs the point. Ja Morant's not that guy. Like it's not a thing anymore. And I know a lot of fans have been watching the NBA for a long time. Like I grew up on the 7 seconds or less Suns. Steve Nash was a traditional point guard. He was really good at shooting the ball and he was like a 50, 40, 90 guy, but look at he won MVPs scoring like 12 points a game. That doesn't exist anymore because you're asking your best players. And not only that, like Nash, I think would have translated to this NBA fine because he shoots the ball really well, but he wasn't a very good defender. But like, he wouldn't be as great as he is in this NBA, with just different eras. And that's okay. Is like, he'd be good, but he wouldn't be as great as he was before because everyone is so big. Dude, you just mentioned your starting lineup. It's Jalen Suggs and freaking Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter. Like, you got nearly 3 7-footers in there. It's like what makes the Magic so fun to watch because they could genuinely roll out like 5 7-footers and just be like, all right, let's just go see what happens. It's why the Magic would bully the Suns. So like I would just urge fans is like Tyus is solid. I was shocked that he got $7 million, but like who cares? $7 million.
1 year deal. Like
I thought for sure he was going to be a vet minimum guy. So he did get that raise that he was looking for, just maybe
not the long-term security. And look, like,
no, he actually got less than his brother.
Yeah. Tyus kind of has to prove like I think there's a reason why Tyus ended up at the minimum last year. And it's because of all these concerns. It's he wants to play for a winning team. It really seems like that was valuable.
And he did with Memphis.
Like he did with Memphis but like he was mostly coming off the bench. And I'm always a big believer of, you have a shot. If you have a shot to start, I'm not going to blame a guy for saying like, I want to test myself and I want to be a starter. Winning is valuable to me, but I need to see how good I am. And like in Washington, Washington was a mess, but he showed like I could be good enough to be a starter. And it didn't seem like the league agreed. And like part of it is like what you're saying, where the trend in the NBA right now is everyone has to be able to do everything. Versatility is everything. Like the Magic are going to run Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner as primary ball handlers. They're 6'10" forwards who move like guards, and Paolo's a battering ram who also who also plays like a center at times. That's the trend the league is going, and it is squeezing out smaller players like Tyus Jones, who can only play and defend one position if they can defend at all. And so you have to find ways to use those skills. And again, like off the bench, you can limit this a little bit. Again, ideal world, like he's coming off the bench. He's playing maybe 20, 24 minutes a game, spot starts here and there. If not starting Anthony Black and keeping that bench rotation or whatever the Magic might do. it definitely feels like it's limiting a little bit. And I think everyone kind of sensed this because a lot of people thought the Magic were going to chase after him last year as their big free agent signing. Because everyone thought they needed a point guard, and the Magic clearly seemed to disagree with that. It's still, I think, valuable to have that organizer. And like the Magic saw this with Corey Joseph, another kind of like probably stronger than Tyus, but like another kind of smallish guard who
everyone's stronger
just
than
a
Tyus.
shooter. Yeah, just kind of facilitated, good guy too, like good locker room guy, just someone that would just like kind of manage the team a little bit without staying in the way. I want to get this last bit in. You mentioned the shooting. You mentioned him not really fitting in with this Suns offense. How you said it was just like they didn't let him do what he needed to do. They
didn't even give him the ball. Like That's
kind of what I want to get at is like
they would run Tyus at like the 2. Like it made no sense. Sorry, continue.
Okay. No, yeah, that's kind of what I want to get at because like I look at his spot up numbers and he shot 42%.
Yeah,
42%.
Good shooter.
Like 4.5 spot up 3-point or catch and shoot 3-point attempts per game, averaged 5.5, six of those per game. And obviously the Magic are looking for that. Can he survive playing off of a Paolo or Franz or whoever he might be in that rotation? Or is this someone that needs the ball in his hands a lot to be effective at all?
No.
Is there a balance there that Phoenix just never found?
There's I don't even think they tried to find. I'm not joking with you, man. It would not surprise me if Bud was trying to get fired. Like with some of the dumb things that he was doing. I think he was like, "Oh, sick. Someone just paid me $10 million a year. All right, let's blow this up and go chill." Like the things he did were so like head scratching to me all year long. Like basic things that you would miss that some dude you pull off the street. Tyus is going to be like, he can't play everywhere. The Magic, he can, because I mean, you're going to switch on to Tyus and Mo Wagner and Paolo Banchero are going to scroll over to the weak side and not let you take him to the hole. So, again, he's a willing defender. So that is part of the battle. He's just so small, but offensively, he's going to shoot the ball well. And when he's not like, he could bring up the ball and get guys open, assists, playmaking, sure. But like, that's not what I think is and I think off the bench is better. Like him having the ball in his hands and creating things and sometimes running with Paolo or Franz, depending how the rotations are going to be, stagger those a little bit. That is the right fit for Tyus. Bring him off the bench, let him handle the ball, and let him roll some pick and roll with whatever. Franz or Paolo or pick and pops or driving kicks out to the outside. Like that is the right role for Tyus. I just don't I wouldn't start him. I would keep, and it doesn't seem like they would. I would keep the 5 guys that you have now, bring Tyus off the bench. He's going to give you offense. He's going to give you trying defense, and he's not going to be a black hole defensively because he's just not going to play that much. He's going to play 18 minutes a night, 20 minutes a night, like at most. So he's not going to be out there long enough. Yeah, exactly. And he's not going to be out there long enough to exploit them. But what I do like is like his spot starting ability. Let's say whoever it is,
Jalen Suggs misses 15 games a year. Like
sure, there you go. Like Jalen Suggs. Oh, there you go. Devin Booker misses 15 a year with a soft tissue injury every year. Yep. It's like, oh, it's already January. Like he pulled his hamstring. All right, we'll see you in 10 games. Like it happens every single year. His spot start ability is very good. And you go back to Memphis, they had a better record the last season he was in Memphis with him starting than John Morant starting. Now, sometimes it isn't everything, but like it shows like he's a really good spot starter. So for the Orlando Magic, I think that is a really good place for him to be. So I like Tyus, man. I kind of feel bad that he took a little less money to come to Phoenix because he wanted to win a championship. And like, I did think it might work because you're just going to outscore teams, but it just was never going to happen. You know what I can interest you in is a gently used Bradley Beal.
If the Magic had cap room, they'd still say no.
What? All right, here's an idea. We pay for Bradley Beal and we just send him over to you under the table.
I am not one to besmirch the legacy of Bradley Beal, famous Florida Gator. The Magic,
Gator legend, dude. Gator legend.
The Magic do need, I think, another wing player. I think they need another wing shooter. I'd like someone a little bit bigger and a little bit more defensively oriented than Bradley Beal.
What about a no trade clause?
The Magic just have no money. Like they got $6.5 million before they hit the hard cap, so they're kind of.
Are you guys a first apron team or no?
We are hard capped at the first apron because they're using the non-taxpayer MLE to get Tyus Jones. So
you guys are so soft. Get in the second apron like a real man.
They're gonna be second apron next year when Paolo gets his $50 million contract when he makes All NBA.
Dude, we're second apron now because we don't even care, dude. We don't even want to win games. We just want to spend money out here in Phoenix.
We're getting there. This is the Magic's first time in the tax in 12 years. It's very, very exciting.
I can't even think of the last great Magic player. Like, was it Tracy McGrady? Was it Steve Francis?
Dwight Howard. Thank you for respecting Magic Steve Francis. Thank you for respecting Magic Steve Francis. But
I remember Steve Francis, man.
Dwight
Howard, that's right.
Everything the Magic have done over the last 2 years is the first time since Dwight Howard.
Hedo Turkoglu, Suns legend.
Suns legend. Jason Richardson. We got Jason back in the building now with his son.
Yeah, that Jason Richardson thing did not end well. You guys gave us Vince Carter in that trade. I know we got Mikhail Petrus.
It was Petrus Gortat, VC for Earl Clark, Jason Richardson, and
Earl Clark, Louisville legend. Dude, people want to act like I don't know my
Earl Clark, man.
Dude, they don't want to know. These Magic fans want to think that I don't know my son's history. Ooh, Earl Clark, number 55, Louisville legend. I would guess he was the 10th pick in the draft, is what my guess would be.
In the teens somewhere, but yeah, essentially.
Anyways, that's interesting, man. Little stroll down memory lane. Don't ever look up why the Suns traded Jason Richardson. Is definitely a interesting story. Interesting theory that I'm like.
Yep. I know that story. I know that story.
Because at the time when they traded Jason Richardson, I was like, why are you trading Jason Richardson? And then you hear the theory and you're like, oh.
I mean, I know the reason that trade was weird in and of itself because it happened in December and trades don't happen in December.
Yep.
And there was just a lot of there's a Magic side to that story too.
At least we got the Polish hammer. Is that
Marcin Gortat's the man. Love Marsh. Happy he still lives in Orlando. We still see him at games occasionally.
Does he really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, man. Well,
he still gets runs in at Rollins if anyone wants to go find the pro runs.
I'm sad that you guys didn't get Walter Clayton Jr. That's my dude, man. But it's all right. You can just root for him from afar.
We're pretty happy. We'll see.
You've got enough undersized guards now in Jason Tyus. I think you filled your void. My last thing I'd say is like Magic fans, you don't need a point guard. Like just you don't need one. You're gonna be fine. It's not the same NBA that you and I grew up on. It's different. Let Paolo hold the ball. Like you'd rather Paolo bring the ball up.
I keep telling
Tyus Jones. Like I'm a Suns fan. We still don't have a point guard. Yes, the Suns aren't a great organization, but like no teams do. It's not the traditional 6'2" point guard. It's not happening. Like, come on, even Tyrese Halliburton's like 6'6". Like, doesn't happen anymore. So
and you gotta be able to score and shoot and all that. Like the skills are just different in this league now.
Way different.
Like forwards like Paolo and Franz need point guard skills, and guards need like shooting skills to have.
Dude, look at the Suns, bro. Like we went from tiny to us. I don't know how many games we're gonna win, but we're like massive now. We got Mark Williams, Kaman Malawach, Rasheer Fleming, like Ryan Dunn, Dylan Brooks is
love that pick.
A good 3-4. Like we went from small to huge. We're taking a page out of your guys' book. So
that's what everyone's going to be doing. That's what everyone's going to be doing when the Magic win the championship this year.
I'm rooting for the Magic. Why wouldn't if I could pick a team right now to win the championship, why not the Magic? I don't have anything against them. Turkoglu, Suns legend, Mikhail Petrus, Marcin Gortat. Like, come on, man. Like, I got nothing against it.
Bo Outlaw. Stephen Hunter.
Bo Outlaw. It's a good goggles. Bo Outlaw. That's right. All right. Well, listen, maybe I'll have to just root for you guys from afar this year.
There we go.
No one hates the Magic. No one.
Well, you say that now, and then you play them, and Desmond Bane and Jalen Suggs are barking at you all game, and Mo Wagner, if he re-signs with the Magic, it was barking at you all game, and you're like, oh, these guys are just annoying.
All right, I reserve the right to change my mind, but for now,
it's one thing to see them every once in a while. It's another thing to be in a 7-game series with them, and they're just every single time. Ben, I want to thank you for coming on and giving us a little insight into Tyus Jones and what the Magic are getting. As always, we will see you in the NBA Finals, my friend.
Yeah. Give it 20 years, but honestly, I don't even know if it's ever gonna happen. I told myself when I was a kid it would happen, and now I'm just losing faith, man. But I'm rooting for you guys, like pulling for the Magic in the East, man. It'd be a heck of a 7-game series against whoever comes out of the West.
My thanks to Ben Garcia for hopping on the show, giving us a little bit of a lowdown on what to expect from Tyus Jones. You can check him out, of course, on Locked On Suns. They had a very, very busy day on Sunday, completing that massive 7-team trade. The Magic have officially signed Tyus Jones. Teams were free to start signing players. The moratorium ended Sunday at noon. As I'm recording this at about 8:15 p.m. Eastern time, the Magic have not yet signed Mo Wagner. We are still awaiting that. We are still awaiting the Paolo Banchero extension that has been delayed, but not because of any disagreements between the teams. As I mentioned last week, there was a death in Paolo's family, so our thoughts are with him and his family, hoping that everyone is grieving the way that they need to grieve, and of course, may Paolo's aunt's memory be a blessing to him and all who knew her. Well, there's still plenty to come here as we get through the rest of the offseason. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. You can, of course, find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD and on Blue Sky at PhilipRR. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all formats you download podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. You can also check us out on YouTube and subscribe there. Just search for Locked On Magic. Truly appreciate everyone who's jumped on board on YouTube. Our goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers by the start of the season. We are well on our way to doing that. Tell your friends to listen to Locked On Magic. We are still going strong every day through the end of Summer League. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, including some Summer League fun, go check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, the Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. Now that you're done making Locked On Magic your first listen today, go make your second listen to Locked On NBA podcast, where there is no offseason. Summer League's already started for a bunch of teams. Doug, Matt, and Hayes keep you up to date on contract negotiations, rumors, and everything you need to be the most informed NBA fan. Find Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, all part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We are going to jump into some Summer League fun tomorrow. On tomorrow's episode, we'll talk a little bit about what Jace Richardson and Noah Penda have to say after their first summer, as they prepare for their first Summer League. I think they've been practicing already, but we're going to talk to them tomorrow. And we might hear a little bit more about Tyus Jones as well. But we're going to get to all that tomorrow. Until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.